Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Campus Convos. This is a great opportunity for us to be able to share all about the Northwood experience in a fun and interactive panel style. Today, we're joined by several amazing Timberwolves here at Northwood University. We're so excited that you have joined us. Throughout our session tonight, be sure to use the chat box. If you're on a phone, it's most likely at the bottom. And if you are on a desktop or a laptop, it's most likely going to be on your right. So go ahead and check it out. Add any questions that you have in there, and our panel will be more than happy to take care of those questions for you. Let me bring up our panelists to begin. We have quite a few. Everybody give a wave as you join. Awesome, awesome. So we are so excited that you guys are here, and I think it would be really, really beneficial if we went around and said a few little things about ourselves before we really kick it off. So let's do name, let's do major, let's do year that you are at Northwood, and let's just do your favorite thing about Northwood so far. I think that's a great place to start. Alyssa, let's start with you.
Yeah, so my name is Alyssa. Obviously, I'm an athlete. That's what's going on. I play softball here. I'm a sophomore. I'm in the BBA MBA program, so that's super cool. My major is finance, and my favorite thing about Northwood is the kind of exposure that it gives us to employers and activities, and just I have so much experience coming out of Northwood because of the people and the experiences that I get.
Great. Let's pass it over to Steven.
Hi guys, my name is Steven Lennon. I'm a freshman here at Northwood, and I'm studying OPS, or Operation Supply Chain Management. Along with that, I'm also a business owner. So definitely one of my favorite things is, the willingness and the ability that the professors have to work with the students and to really, get the best you out of yourself through that.
Cool. Thanks for being here, Steven. Let's move on to Grace.
Hi, so I'm a freshman. I'm majoring in automotive marketing and management, and I'm also in the BBA MBA program. I'd say my favorite thing about Northwood is probably the close-knit feeling. Like everybody is, so many people on campus, and you are super close with your professors, and you can reach out at any time.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Aiden Jones.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aiden. I am from Canada, if you can't tell. I'm here for sports management, and my favorite thing about Northwood is probably the involvement I've had with esports. It's been a fun ride.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll learn a lot more about esports here throughout the session today. So thanks so much, everybody. We are so thrilled that you guys are here. What we're going to do to get us kind of in the mindset of questions, we're going to actually bring up a picker wheel so that we are able to get some of the best and top questions we get here at Northwood University. But again, please use your chat box because we do want to get to your questions live as well. So let's go ahead and click spin on this. It'll take a second to get started. Maybe. It's a long wheel. Okay, it's taking longer than I thought. I'll admit to that. All right, here we go. Can you study abroad? That is a great question. Has anyone here on the call, I know some of you may have been interrupted by the pandemic for study abroad, but have any of you been on a study abroad program? Okay. Well, I can touch a little bit about it. I've had several individuals. This is actually rare that we don't have somebody who's been involved in a study abroad program. That's likely because the pandemic interrupted some, of course. But Northwood University really prides itself in our study abroad programs. There's several different programs that you can be involved with, and they range from 1 week, 2 week. You can go several months. We have summer programs. And we also have semester in Europe, which is actually a full 6 months. So this is a really cool program. You get to literally go to different countries, explore there. You get to learn in their classrooms and learn the culture and everything. It's a really, really cool experience. if you are interested in doing it, we can certainly send you off to the right people and can make those connections for you. So again, just comment if you want us to do that for you. But the best advice I can share that people have shared with me with study abroad is that if you do want to do it, it's best to plan early for study abroad. And again, the reason we say that is because with study abroad, you want to make sure that the courses you take really connect up with your schedule. So obviously, if you're a senior and you've never planned to study abroad, it's going to be a little bit tough to get the credits you need to graduate. But doing so early and planning it early on really makes your study abroad experience so much better. I personally would have loved, if I had planned earlier, I would have loved to do one of our week-long study abroad programs, just because I've heard such great things about them. Does anyone have, Alyssa, have you heard of anybody who studied abroad and heard about their experience?
Yeah, I actually know a lot of people that have studied abroad, and they all just love it. And I think it's a really cool experience to kind of learn cultures of different places. And that's also something that's going to give you a leg up in the industry, whatever industry you're going to go into.
Perfect. All right, so I just cheated a little bit, but I clicked our spinner ahead of time so that it spins in the background. This next one, can I bring a bike to campus? I think that's a really, really good question. Steven, I'm going to pass this off to you if you don't mind.
Yeah, so a lot of people do it. One thing I will say is that campus itself is maybe small enough where you don't need a bike, but what's cool about Midland and the surrounding areas is that there's a trail that runs right through Northwood, and then it heads straight to downtown Midland. And so there's a lot of cool things down there. A lot of you are probably familiar with the Tridge, or just like downtown Midland's kind of a cool area with a bunch of little stores down there. So yeah, it's definitely something that I know of a lot of people do around here, is just go for bike rides or even use it around campus, just for getting around quicker.
And on that part of transportation around campus, we have bird scooters now. Have any of you had a chance to ride a bird anywhere? Okay, let's have Aiden talk about it first, and then Grace, you can share your experience too. They just started probably about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've had so much fun with them. So we have a ton of bird scooters around. They're fully electric, and you just get a little app and you pay per use for it. So especially when I have a class on the other side of campus and maybe I'm rushing a little bit, then taking a bird scooter is really, really fun. Or just going around and it's you're just trying to have a fun time with your friends and just hang out, then taking a bird scooter is really good. And you can also take it down into Midland if you want. There's ways to do that, but yeah, I've had a blast with it.
And Grace, you and I got to see President McDonald take his first bird scooter ride with one of our vice presidents, Justin Marshall.
Yeah, so I'm from Grosse Pointe, so we have them in downtown Detroit. So I had experienced them before Midland, but I was super excited when I found out that they were being brought to campus. And I've been riding with my friends. I know when the weather was super nice, it was really fun to just ride around campus. It was something to do. So yeah, and it was funny watching President McDonald riding around the parking lot on it. So yeah.
Great. All right. So our next question here, what is it like to be a first-year student? Wow, that's like several years back for me. Let's start with Grace this time, and then we'll go to Aiden, just because they are freshmen. This was their first year. So what has it been like? You guys have, 2 or 3 weeks left. What has your experience been so far?
So far, I'd say my experience has been amazing and way better than I expected. I was pretty nervous going into it because I wasn't in person in school for the last couple months of high school, and I felt like I had been away from the classroom for a while. So it was amazing to be able to come to Northwood with in-person classes and kind of be returning to a sense of normalcy after a crazy couple of months. So overall, I've absolutely loved it.
There we go. Yeah, I've loved it. It was a really scary experience for me because coming from Canada and 30 hours away, something like that, it was like I'm on the other side of the continent. And also I hadn't really ever been to this side of the US, so I didn't really know what to expect. But when I came here, I instantly got involved in as much as I could. And that would be my greatest piece of advice is anything that you're interested in at Northwood, get involved with. And we have a ton of RSOs. Like anything from Nerf Club to Decade of Mock Trial to anything you can think of that you might be interested in, Northwood will have it for an RSO. So when you're a freshman, the best way to have a good experience is to get involved, and I've had a great time.
And Aiden, how do you learn about some of those organizations, right? Like if you're here on day one, you just moved in, how did you end up finding out about all of the organizations that you could be a part of here at Northwood?
Within the first week or two, I believe we had days where the mall walk on campus was lined with little tents where you could go and just walk through, and you'd have a bunch of RSOs explain what they try to do. And that's how I ended up finding a couple of the RSOs I'm in. So within the first week or two, I think that's when it was. You'll have opportunities to meet the RSOs and see what you might fit in with.
Absolutely. Okay, next one. This is a fun one. What are your favorite things to do both on campus and in Midland? So for this one, I would love if Alyssa could kick us off, and then we'll go to Steven, and then I'll talk a little too.
Yeah, so Northwood does a really good job of making sure that you kind of stay busy on campus. So there's tons of things to do in the student union. They actually organize a lot of events. Like we have like little pots that you can paint and crafts and like free, like they did Energize in the student union all for free. I think last week it was. So I really like just going to little events like that. But there's also like in the student union there, you can go play board games or ping pong, or the Hawk is a really cool place to go, which is like the rec center on campus. So there's just tons of things to do on campus. Off of campus, I really love going to the Tridge. I just think it's kind of cool, and downtown is just a really nice area. So just kind of hanging out with my friends over there, and just I really like the student union and hanging out in the student union. That's probably my favorite building to hang out in.
So I would say on campus, one of my favorite things to do is go to the Hawk and play or like participate in the intramural sports. We were able to do volleyball and basketball for both intramural, and that was super fun to be involved in that. And then off campus, golly, I do a lot of different things. I'll just kind of go out to eat with friends and stuff, or go to Dow Gardens and go to like the canopy walk there. That place is really cool too. Me and my buddies go fishing down at the river, and then yeah, there's a lot to do. There's plenty to do around here, and it's you can have a lot of fun. You're not doing it right if you're not having fun here. So
agreed, for sure. For me, my favorite thing on campus, that is tough. I would say my favorite thing to do in like a normal year is the fall and spring here, just like honestly walking around with friends and going from place to place, whether that's from class to class or an RSO meeting to another RSO meeting. I love when it's super nice here. We have, Northwood's a very kind of nature placed campus, right? We have lots of trees. And because of that, you get nice colors, you get sunshine. It's just a really nice atmosphere. Check out our Instagram for some past cool images. That's definitely my favorite like areas and things to do on campus in terms of like walking around. I like to be involved in lots of stuff. You guys know that. But outside, I definitely agree with everybody saying downtown. Like I love going downtown and walking around there. The Tridge is super cool. There's a lot of nature trails around Midland too that I didn't even know until last summer when I was here for the summer. There's lots of places to walk and do stuff. I also will say I really like the Northwood Idea Center, which is downtown, and I'll eventually have Stephen probably talk a little bit about the Idea Center, but it's basically a place for you to do homework that's not on campus. So if you say you're sick and tired of working on homework all day long on campus and you need a little break, you can go over to the Idea Center. They have Creation Coffee that's served there. You have a chance to relax a little bit, work with others. It's a really cool space. They also have a podcast studio. So that has slowly become one of my more favorite places to go outside of campus. All right, so our next question that we have here is how much more difficult is the BBA MBA program? So Alyssa, you are a part of the BBA MBA program. I would love for you to touch on the undergrad piece of it, and then I'll kind of cover the graduate part.
Yeah, so being an athlete and in the BBA MBA program, I was a little bit nervous coming in just because that's kind of a lot all in your freshman year. But I really didn't feel any different than any of the other students that I was working with or in my classes with. I took 21 credits my freshman year, which is quite a bit for any semester. But I didn't feel like I had to sacrifice my like any activities to study. I was still in all of the RSOs that I wanted to be in. I was just as involved as everyone else that I was by that wasn't in the BBA MBA. So it's not any harder classes or anything. It's all in the same classes. It's just more of them. So I like the challenge, and I think that if I didn't do the BBA MBA program, I'd probably be struggling more than I mean, I'm not struggling, but more than if I wasn't, or than it is right now. So it's really not a big difference at all.
Absolutely. And I like to tell people that if you're the type of person in high school that had a planner, you were very organized, you were a good student, you were involved in a lot of different things, really the transition from high school to the BBA MBA program isn't going to be as overwhelming as it might seem, right? Like I remember being a senior in high school and thinking about the BBA MBA program and thinking to myself, oh man, like more than 16 credits sounds so overwhelming. But the big thing you have to remember is that in college, you don't have a set, you don't have to be at school at 7 a.m. all the way until 4 p.m. during the school day. You're really separated, right? You have classes here and there, and some classes are on Monday, Wednesday, some are on Tuesday, Thursday. So you get that flexibility with your schedule that you didn't have in high school. So the transition for a lot of students is actually a lot easier than people would think. And then the graduate program is really, really neat. It's all based on case studies. It's all discussion based and paper based. There's no exams or quizzes. You're evaluated on those papers and your presentations. So it's a very interesting way to learn. I definitely recommend, if you qualify, to check out the BBA MBA program. There's lots on our website, or reach out to your admissions representative here at Northwood, and they can certainly share all about the program with you. All right, so this is a fun question. What did you do to make your dorm yours? One of the things we hear from so many students year after year is they're a little bit nervous about dorm life. Usually our freshmen live with two people. This year they actually get their own individual room instead of having to share, so they got a little bit lucky. But what do you do to make it feel like home? I think is a great point to start with. So Aiden, I think you're in your dorm room. I could be wrong. But let's start with you, and then let's go to Steven and then Alyssa.
Sure. Well, I was also lucky because the dorms were overflowed. So because we only had one per room, there was some overflow into Nagley Village, which is our on-campus apartments. So I live with 4 other people. We have like a nice living room with couches and TV, but no kitchen. So that's Nagley Village. But when I got here, I needed to make it a little bit my own because I was so far away from home. So I have the flag behind me. And just little odd things that I filled up my room with. I have like a little flag over there, a calendar, and I have a chair in my room in case I need an extra person to kind of hang out. And but you just kind of start filling up your room with things that are remind you who you are, or like what you want to do and whatever it might be. So, but my favorite thing about Nagley is just that I have those people in my proximity. So I live with 4 people that I love living with, and at the end of a long day, I can just hang out with them in the living room and watch TV. So campus has been really comfortable for me.
So I don't actually live on campus, but I'm always like in a buddy's room, and a lot of times I actually sleep over in one of my best buddies' rooms. And so what they do is they have we made a custom flag with like a picture of all of us together, and then we did, let's see, they have like their Alexas in there and all sorts of different things, and then they got like their LED lights and all that. And it's just like kind of a couple little things to make it like a little bit more of a home for the meantime, make it more comfortable.
Yeah, so one of my favorite things that I did in my dorm room is I actually this is really basic, but I put Christmas lights up, and the fluorescent light that's in there kind of reminded me of like a hospital. So just putting those Christmas lights on like made it feel a lot more cozy. And I had a big like area rug, and that really helps with like the tile and making it feel more cozy. Um, and just like filling it up with, like Aiden said, just the stuff that reminds you of who you are, and make sure that it's not empty, because actually the dorms have a lot of space and I kind of found it difficult to fill all the space. So just trying to find stuff to actually fill the space.
And Grace, I know I didn't say we were going to go to you, but I think we should, because I know you have a nice dorm room too.
Yeah, so I am in the dorms, and because of COVID, I do have my own room, and I just share the bathroom with one other girl. So it's definitely been nice. Like Alyssa said, there is a ton of space to fill, especially when you're in there alone. So I turned my extra bed into like a couch, like a seating area kind of. So when my friends came over, they had somewhere to sit that was like comfortable. Um, Overall, I mean, like everybody said, it's like hanging pictures of like your friends from home or just things that make you happy and kind of making it personal. Because I mean, I know I went home a bit, but I still always felt like I was coming home to my own room there with all of my things there. So it's been nice.
Great. Thank you all. This one is very specific to Stephen. How do I get involved as a commuter or a transfer student?
So I would say the biggest thing is to just like talk to people. It's really that simple. Just get yourself out there, and definitely speak to professors too. Professors are, like I said, not only willing, I'm sorry, not only able, but very willing to work with students about different projects or just different things about getting involved on campus. And that was one of my worries as a commuter. I was kind of thinking like, dang, like, do I want to, move to campus? And it really didn't end up being too much of a big deal. I mean, I would just come to school in the morning and leave at night. Basically I would find so much, to do here that there would be no need to go home. And now I barely go home much at all. I just spend the night in my buddy's room, and next year I'll be living on campus. But from where I started, it was just basic communication, just kind of putting yourself out there and not being afraid to just ask people what's going on. Like, it's really that simple.
Absolutely, and I think you have done an excellent job at being involved on campus, despite being a commuter student. As you talked about, if you plan your day right, you end up being at Northwood the whole day. You start off in the morning with classes, study a little bit. You have a on-campus job. You have RSO meetings. You want to hang out with friends, and then next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock at night, and you've been there the entire day. So you can definitely be involved as a commuter student, as Stephen said. You just have to make yourself do it. You have to schedule your day right, and force yourself into some of those situations. And then the rest comes naturally, honestly. You'll have a great experience. So thanks so much for sharing that.
And John, adding to that really quick, one thing I want to say too is make sure that you do get involved, because get the most out of Northwood, because, Northwood is like so good for connections and just stuff like that. And so as a commuter, especially, it's super important to just make sure that you do get involved, because there is a lot of opportunities here. Just don't be that like ghost student that comes in, goes to the classes, takes the test, and then leaves. There is much more than that here.
Absolutely. Thanks for adding that, for sure. Here's kind of a cool question too. What is one thing you wish you had known about college before it started? Let's go to Alyssa first on this one.
This is a question I've never heard before. One thing that I wish I would have known is we're kind of all in the same boat. Everyone is kind of doing the same thing as you are. Everyone is trying to get involved as best they can. Everyone's trying to make friends. So if you feel like you're going through something, someone is definitely going through it as well. And just reaching out and asking for help in whatever way that you need it, whether it's, hey, I need help getting involved in something that I like, or hey, I need help in this certain class, or whatever. Definitely asking for help. And knowing the people to ask for help and knowing the connections that you can actually get in at Northwood.
Awesome. And then let's go to Aiden on that question. If you did go back and learn one thing, what would it be?
Well, I think on a similar note to Alyssa, like everyone, if you're a little bit nervous, like you can guarantee that the person next to you is just as nervous as you are, you know, with getting into things. So I wouldn't let that hold you back from doing things that you want to do, because, you know, we understand, and we're just here to help you transition into Northwood. Everyone thinks that way, especially your sophomores, your juniors, and your seniors, right? So get involved, you know.
Great. And then let's go to Grace on that one. And let's actually try to, if we can, Grace, to integrate it into Allison's question here. What is one tip you would give to someone who will be starting college in the fall?
So kind of to answer both of those, I would say just like when it comes to making friends, I thought it was going to be a bit harder than it ended up going to be, because I'm quite shy. But like when you come up here, especially even if you're living in the same room as someone or you're just living in the same apartment, you like are immediately become friends with them, and they have a friend group, or you guys can make friend groups together, whether it's in clubs or teams or anything like that. So one tip that I would give would just be to kind of go out of your comfort shell. Like, I know there's just so many things that I got involved with that I would never in high school. If you asked me if I would have been doing half the things I am now, I would have said absolutely not. That sounds crazy. So I would definitely say just don't be afraid to get out of your shell.
That's a really great piece of advice. Aiden, or you already talked about it. Who hasn't talked about it? Is it Steven? Yeah, Steven, let's go to you.
I would say, kind of touching on what I said before, just go all in. You know, don't be the student that just comes to class and leaves. Like, talk to your professors, get to know them, and then go from there. That was the biggest thing for me, is like the first week of school, I went up to all my professors and talked to them and met them, and then eventually actually set up meetings with them regarding my business. But beyond that, it was just kind of the getting to know them and drawing that connection. That was most important for me.
And for me, you know, the biggest thing I can share is remember to have fun. I know I was the type of student who came in on day one. I was kind of more professional. I walked in, I kind of had my eyes set on Northwood for a long time. I felt like I knew what I wanted to do. I was very focused in, and it's important to remember that you are a college student. Have some fun, go hang out with people, go get involved in RSOs and student organizations that don't have anything to do with academics, right? We have a Nerf club on campus. We have a ping pong club. Get involved in some of those activities, and remember to enjoy college. Go ride around on a bird scooter with your friends. Don't miss out on some of those opportunities, because once work starts, it sounds like work starts, and that's, you know, your fun level is still there, but it's different. It's not the same as it will be during your college years. So thanks so much, Allison, for that question. We have a few minutes left here. One thing I think we should definitely talk about is experiential learning opportunities that Northwood offers. And this group on its own has had some really cool experiences. So let's start with Alyssa, and then we'll go to Grace. I'll talk a little bit, and then Stephen and Aiden, if you guys want to chime in as well, that would be cool.
Yeah, so some of the majors and the BBA MBA program require internships in order for you to graduate, and there's tons of resources for you to find an internship. It's not like a chore that you have to do. It's just something to help you to prepare to be in the actual work world. So I recently just got an internship with Northwestern Mutual, kind of to be a apprentice financial advisor. I haven't started that yet, but I'm super, super excited. I got that through the career fair and through one of my finance professors, because all my professors are industry leaders and they kind of know what they're doing in the industry. So that's super cool. And I'm also the secretary of the finance institution. So that is really cool, because we're planning a state of the market event. It's kind of like a dinner luncheon kind of thing right now. It's going to be in the fall, and that's to invite more corporate finance professionals onto campus and kind of network and be super cool. So that's going to be awesome. And that's kind of another experiential learning thing. I'm going to be presenting in front of those professionals. I can meet them, talk to them, network with them. So I'm super excited for that.
Okay, so I am, like I said, an auto major, so there's a ton that's hands-on in that program. The biggest one, obviously, is the auto show. So I did not get to participate this year because it is virtual, but I do have a captain's position for Kia this upcoming fall. So I'll be working directly with the dealerships and everything like that, which is very hands-on. And then I also, like Alyssa said, I just secured my internship for this upcoming summer with General Motors. So I will be working with their sales service and marketing, kind of dipping my toes in everything. So that's super exciting. And I did work on with my family to get that connection, but I also did have the support of both of my auto professors, and they both were working through it with me through every step. So definitely there's many hands-on opportunities.
Steven or Aiden, anything to add on?
I can just say that as far as my business advancement, for my personal business has just been crazy through this. Like, that's what I would call my experiential learning. So I went into Northwood not wanting to go into the entrepreneurial major because I wanted to, kind of branch out and learn some other skills that would help me within my business, and go from there. So with that being said, I wanted to expand and just get, general business knowledge. And in that, and talking to professors so much like I have, it's been just a fantastic opportunity to learn, things that I never even considered. For example, when I built my website, I had it built coming into the school year. And then now I've completely reconstructed it and done everything over again with just my one extra year of knowledge. At Northwood, it's like, wow, I look at my old website and it's like, how was that like a good idea to me? Just based on what I've learned and what I know now. That's been the biggest thing.
For me, I've had a little bit of a unique opportunity being esports. So Northwood has a pretty decently sized esports program, and coming here, I was able to secure a job as the assistant to the program director for that. So I've had my hands dipped into almost every pot you can think of with the program, and I do plan on going into esports after college, so that's very helpful. But even if you're not so niche, Northwood is very focused on giving their students experiential learning opportunities. So that comes, like we've said, with internship requirements. And then we're also very helpful in helping you find that internship. But other things like the auto show and the Stafford dinner. And just today I had a meeting with Justin Marshall, who is one of the big dogs at Northwood, about some marketing stuff for the program. And that was just because I wanted to bring it up. So he was ready to listen to me, and I was happy to talk. And, Northwood does try to get their students involved. So that's, in my opinion, the greatest advantage of Northwood and being at a smaller school.
Absolutely. We definitely place such a big emphasis on experiential learning because we love when our students get to go out in the field and take their skills and essentially practice them, right? Like put them into practice. You're not just going to be reading a textbook at Northwood. You're going to take what's from the textbook. You're going to learn how it applies in a real situation, and craft some really, really cool innovation for a lot of different businesses. I know I've actually had 3 internships across my different years. I worked at Cedar Point in park operations as an internal auditor for the organization. I worked at Domino's Pizza headquarters in Ann Arbor as an international training consultant. And then this past summer, I had a virtual internship at Nestle USA, where I actually served on the Target.com e-commerce team, working on images and the digital shelf and online store pickup and all of those different fun things. So we are not uncommon, right? Like you might think, oh, you guys are up here, like Northwood picked the best. Like, no, this is very common across our campus that students have at least one, if not multiple internships. They work on campus in a lot of different ways. talk with leadership on a day-to-day basis about things that Northwood could improve on, or ideas that they have to connect students more. This is day-to-day at Northwood University, which is truly what makes us so unique and so special. So with that, thank you all so much for joining us. If you haven't had a chance to visit our university yet, be sure to schedule a tour. Just go to northwood.edu/visit, and you can find a date and a time that works for you. You'll get a chance to meet with an admissions representative. You'll tour campus with a current student. And then if you ever want to do anything extra when you're on campus, if you want to meet with financial aid or meet with a faculty member, just add that into the comments of your visit and we'll do our absolute best to schedule it. If you've already been to Northwood several times and you are right on the edge of coming, I definitely recommend putting down that commitment deposit. If you want to lock in those scholarships, especially because the due date is coming up from the time that you get your money back. So please, if you haven't put down your commitment deposit, do so if you are committed and you're excited about Northwood University. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to our panelists, and to everyone else, have a fantastic rest of your evening.